It's delivery time for net zero in the UK. The country has ambitious targets to reduce the polluting emissions that cause climate change, and in most areas of the economy, there are plans in place. So now the priority is for strong government policies which drive a rapid response from businesses and from people. But how can we be confident that the necessary progress will actually be delivered? Well, it's our role at the Climate Change Committee to offer an independent view of that challenge. We've worked hard to develop a new approach to monitoring progress. We're increasing our focus on real change on the ground, measured through early indicators of action by businesses, consumers and households. Around the world, net zero emissions has become the standard goal for national governments to tackle climate change. Most of the world's economy now operates under some kind of net zero goal. That's progress. But many national goals for achieving net zero are only loose ambitions. Many are missing accompanying plans to deliver them, and actions are rarely in line with the rapid fall in emissions that we require immediately. In this, the UK's approach really stands out. We have ambitious legal targets requiring near-term reductions in UK emissions, all fully in line with the Climate Change Committee's recommendations. And prior to the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow, the government backed those targets with a detailed net zero strategy. The UK is in a new phase. The priority is not setting targets, it's now delivery and implementation. And that means the role of the CCC must change to scrutinise those things too. We have a solid base for monitoring progress. The government's net zero strategy provides pathways for each sector to reduce emissions right through to 2037. If achieved, those pathways would deliver the UK's legislated carbon budgets and put us on track to reach net zero. The government's strategy and the CCC's emissions pathways are similar, so there's consensus about the big challenges. All UK electricity should come from low carbon sources like wind and nuclear by 2035. All newly sold cars and vans should be zero emission by 2030. We'll also need more walking and cycling and public transport provision. Reducing emissions from buildings is a tough test, but shortly every new building must be constructed to a net zero standard, and by 2035 all buildings should reach a decent level of insulation and energy efficiency. Sales of gas boilers must be phased out. The future for UK manufacturing and construction is in making and selling low carbon products. Emissions in this sector must fall by around 70% between 2019 and 2035. And when it comes to the natural world, we need to rapidly scale up tree planting, peatland restoration and bioenergy production on land freed up by improved productivity in farming and the changes to the nation's meat and dairy consumption that we need. Those are the right goals, but they're hard to track. So we need a better approach to monitoring progress in detail. We thought really carefully about how to do this. Our main focus is the economic sectors, but we also want to consider important cross-cutting themes like public engagement, governance, business action, and of course fairness. We want to look for early indicators of change, not just tracking emissions. We need to monitor what's important, not just what's easy to measure. And of course, we want to be flexible to how the external context affects progress, issues like increases in the cost of living. These are our monitoring maps. For each sector, we've mapped the relationships and the interdependencies between policies, enablers, and outcomes. We consider four things. Contextual factors. These are conditions that are mostly independent of government climate policy, but they're really important for the net zero transition. Global and societal shifts or changes in international politics. At the next level, we have policies. This includes policies that the government has already promised or implemented, but also other measures that our analysis indicates are necessary. Enablers are the enabling factors for successful policy, issues like private sector finance, business action, innovation, governance. And on the top, we have the key outcomes that need to be achieved in each sector, with a collection of measurable indicators for each. That kind of logical approach to change pays dividends when it's in place, as we've seen in the UK's electricity system over recent years. A clear strategy for phasing out coal, for growing low carbon sources of electricity, a focus on bringing down the cost of key technologies, a stable policy framework to support vast private sector investment. That clarity saw emissions from the power sector fall by 2/3 from 2008 to 2019. Coal-fired power once made this our dirtiest sector, and now coal is almost completely gone. And the costs of generating electricity from offshore wind have plummeted thanks to a combination of government policy and industry innovation. Looking out to the next few years, let's consider another bright spot in the surface transport sector. At the top, surface transport emissions must fall by 75% from 2019 to 2035. That's a big drop. That's driven by reducing consumer demand for carbon-intensive forms of travel and reducing vehicle emissions. Let's follow vehicle emissions down our map. Rapid uptake of zero-emission vehicles, or EVs, is absolutely essential. That in turn will be enabled by a strong supply of quality zero-emission vehicles, a widespread and reliable public charging network, reinforced by improving public and business attitudes to electric vehicles. The job of effective policy is to guide that, encouraging the actions that are needed in the private sector, especially with a clear phase-out date for petrol and diesel vehicle sales. Financial support for consumers is initially very important, but that too can be phased out as the vehicles become cheaper. And that in turn rests on a set of contextual factors, which you can see here. We have good data on the key indicators and metrics here. Electric car sales are actually slightly ahead of the CCC pathway and on a trend to beat the government's own pathway for the sector. And that's further reinforced by key social metrics, improved public awareness, and intentions for drivers' next vehicle purchases. And you can see here how the number of new EV models coming onto the market has grown in recent years, more so for cars than for vans. Taken together, that gives us a strong basis to think that UK electric car sales are heading in the right direction, and that's a healthy indicator for the transport sector as a whole. Decarbonising electricity and moving to electric vehicles are two clear examples of positive progress towards net zero. Sadly, we're not seeing similar progress in other areas. That must change. So we hope our monitoring maps will help focus government's attention on the delivery gaps. And if you're in a local authority or a business, or even if you're looking to cut your own carbon footprint, then we also hope these monitoring maps will guide you to where you can make a difference. We'll update the maps in real time. We'll publish a live dashboard of our key indicators. There are areas where data is currently scarce and others where better indicators almost certainly will be available. Please let us know how we can improve these monitoring maps. We want them to become a common currency, something that helps to drive progress in this crucial challenge of delivering a net zero UK.